Hello guys, welcome to the Coin Riches channel. This coin could change your life. If you have it, don't ignore this message. Leave your email in the comment box because we are actively looking to buy this coin from collectors and everyday people who may not even realize what they're holding. Somewhere right now, in a dusty drawer, an old coin jar, or the back pocket of a forgotten jacket, a simple-looking British penny from 1991 is quietly waiting to be discovered. And what makes this story so powerful is that most people have seen this coin before. They've held it, spent it, or tossed it aside without a second thought. But hidden inside this ordinary copper coin is a story that turns loose change into life-changing opportunity. Let's travel back to the early 1990s. A time before smartphones, before social media, when coins were still a daily part of life. In 1991, the United Kingdom minted millions of one-penny coins featuring the timeless portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. To the average person, it was just another year, just another coin. Nothing about it looked rare. Nothing about it looked special. And that's exactly why so many of these coins slipped through the cracks unnoticed, but history has a strange way of rewriting value. What once seemed ordinary can become extraordinary with the passing of time. The 1991 British Queen Elizabeth one-penny coin is a perfect example of that transformation. Because in the world of coin collecting, rarity isn't always obvious at first glance. Sometimes it hides behind familiarity. Sometimes it waits decades before revealing its true worth. Now imagine this. You're cleaning your house one weekend. You open an old box filled with random items from years ago. Inside, you find a handful of foreign coins collected during travel, gifts, or change from relatives abroad. Among them sits a small brown coin with the familiar image of Queen Elizabeth II. You almost toss it aside. But something makes you pause. Something tells you to look closer. And that single moment of curiosity becomes the turning point between an ordinary day and a life-changing discovery. The 1991 British penny carries more than just metal and design. It carries a legacy. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II represents one of the longest reigning monarchs in modern history. Her image on currency symbolized stability, tradition, and continuity for millions of people across generations. Coins like this were part of daily life in Britain and beyond, passing through countless hands, pockets, and stories. Every scratch, every mark, every faded edge carries silent memories of the journeys it has taken, but what makes this coin so fascinating today isn't just history. It's the mystery surrounding specific variations that collectors obsess over. In the coin world, tiny details can mean everything. A slight difference in minting. A rare error. A limited production batch. These small factors can transform a common coin into a collector's treasure. And the 1991 penny sits right at that crossroads between common and extraordinary. Many collectors describe moments like this as hidden history. Objects that lived ordinary lives suddenly step into the spotlight decades later. And when they do, the world looks at them differently. What was once ignored becomes admired. What was once pocket change becomes a centerpiece of conversations, auctions, and collector circles. There's also something deeply emotional about coins like this. Unlike modern digital assets or investments that exist only on screens, a coin is something you can hold. It has weight, texture, presence. It connects you to a real moment in time. When someone holds a 1991 British penny today, they're not just holding metal. They're holding a fragment of the past, a silent witness to a different era, and here's where the story becomes even more powerful. Most valuable discoveries don't happen to professional collectors. They happen to ordinary people. People who weren't even looking. A retired teacher sorting through old keepsakes. A shop owner counting foreign change. A traveler unpacking souvenirs after decades. These are the moments when hidden value reveals itself. Not in museums, not in vaults, but in everyday life. The idea that something so small can carry such massive potential is what makes coins like this unforgettable. It challenges the way we think about value. It reminds us that worth isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it waits patiently for the right person to notice, and that's why this coin continues to capture attention around the world. Because it represents possibility. The possibility that something overlooked could hold incredible importance. The possibility that the next life-changing discovery isn't locked away somewhere distant, but sitting right inside your home. Take a moment and think about how many coins have passed through your hands over the years. Hundreds. Thousands. Now imagine if just one of them held the power to completely shift your financial future. That's the kind of thought that keeps collectors awake at night. The idea that history hides in plain sight, waiting for someone observant enough to recognize it. The 1991 British Queen Elizabeth one-penny coin stands as a reminder that time changes everything. Objects age. Stories deepen. Meaning grows. And sometimes, value rises in ways no one could have predicted. What once bought almost nothing can one day become something people desperately search for, and here's the truth most people don't realize. The world of coin collecting isn't slowing down. It's growing. More people than ever are turning their attention toward rare coins, historical currency, and forgotten treasures. And as interest grows, so does demand. And when demand rises, the spotlight naturally shifts toward coins that carry mystery, rarity, and emotional weight. That's why conversations about this coin have been spreading quietly but steadily. Among collectors, among enthusiasts, and even among everyday people who suddenly find themselves drawn into the fascinating world of hidden treasures. Because once you hear stories like this, you can't unhear them. You start looking differently at every coin you see. Every jar of loose change becomes a potential story waiting to unfold, and maybe that's the most powerful part of all. Coins like this don't just carry financial value. They carry a sense of wonder. They remind us that the world is still full of surprises. That even in an age of technology and fast information, there are still secrets hiding in the simplest places. So before you dismiss this as just another old coin story, pause for a second. Think about the drawers you haven't opened in years. The old wallets tucked away in storage. The forgotten collections gathering dust. Because sometimes, the difference between an ordinary day and an extraordinary one is a single decision to look closer, and if you do find this coin, if you come across a 1991 British Queen Elizabeth one-penny, don't rush past it. Hold it. Examine it. Respect the possibility that it might be more than what it seems. Because history has proven again and again that life-changing discoveries rarely announce themselves loudly. They appear quietly, waiting for someone curious enough to listen. And the deeper you go into stories like this, the more you realize something surprising. The real magic of coins isn't just in their age or metal. It's in the moments they create. Moments of disbelief. Moments of realization. Moments when someone suddenly understands that what they're holding is no longer ordinary. The 1991 British Queen Elizabeth one-penny has created those moments for people in ways that are almost unbelievable. There are stories of individuals who ignored coins like this for years, only to rediscover them later during simple life changes. Moving houses. Clearing out an attic. Sorting through inherited belongings. These ordinary events often become the doorway to extraordinary discoveries. And what makes it even more powerful is how unexpected it feels. No treasure map. No dramatic hunt. Just real life quietly revealing something incredible. One of the most fascinating parts about coins from the early 90s is how they sit in a strange middle ground. They're not ancient enough to feel historical at first glance. But they're not modern enough to feel common anymore. They exist in that unique space where nostalgia meets rarity. And that's exactly where value begins to grow silently over time. For many people between the ages of 35 and 65, this coin connects directly to memory. It belongs to an era they remember clearly. A time when physical money mattered more. When coins clinked in pockets and purses. When paying with change was normal, not rare. That emotional connection adds something powerful that younger generations often miss. Because value isn't just financial. It's emotional, generational, deeply personal, and that emotional layer is what drives collectors to pay attention. Serious collectors aren't just buying metal. They're buying stories. They're buying time capsules. They're buying pieces of history they can hold in their hands. And coins like the 1991 penny offer something uniquely compelling. They're recent enough to feel relatable, yet old enough to feel significant. Another reason this coin continues to gain attention is the growing realization that not all coins age equally. Some disappear. Some get melted down. Some are lost forever. But a few survive quietly, waiting for the right moment to reappear. And when fewer examples remain in circulation, even coins that were once plentiful can begin to shift in perception. Scarcity has a way of rewriting history. Think about how many coins from your childhood are simply gone now. Spent. Lost. Forgotten. The passage of time doesn't just age objects. It filters them. It reduces their numbers slowly, year after year. And as that process continues, the survivors become more meaningful. Not because they changed, but because the world around them did. This is where awareness becomes everything. The difference between someone who recognizes opportunity and someone who misses it often comes down to knowledge. A person who understands the potential behind coins like this sees them differently. They don't see loose change. They see possibility. They see hidden doors where others see nothing, and once that awareness begins, it spreads quickly. People start checking old coin jars. Revisiting forgotten collections. Calling relatives to ask about old foreign currency. It creates a ripple effect. One story inspires another. One discovery sparks curiosity in someone else. And slowly, a quiet movement builds around objects that were once ignored. The 1991 British Queen Elizabeth I penny has become part of that quiet movement. Not loudly. Not aggressively. But steadily. Through whispers in collector communities. Through stories passed between friends. Through moments of shock when someone realizes what they might be holding. And let's be honest. There's something incredibly thrilling about the idea that life-changing opportunities don't always require massive risks. Sometimes they come from things you already own. Things already sitting in your home. That idea alone is enough to stop anyone in their tracks. Because it flips the script completely. Instead of chasing opportunity somewhere far away, it invites you to look inward. To look closer at what you already have. It also challenges a common belief that valuable items always look valuable. That wealth always shines. But coins like this prove the opposite. Sometimes the most powerful opportunities look plain. Quiet. Unremarkable. They don't demand attention. They wait for recognition, and recognition is a powerful moment. It's the second when confusion turns into clarity. When doubt turns into curiosity. When curiosity turns into action. People who experience that moment often describe it as unforgettable. A mix of excitement, disbelief, and urgency all at once. Imagine holding a coin you've seen countless times before. Then suddenly realizing it might be worth far more than you ever imagined. That shift in perception is electrifying. It changes how you see not just the coin, but the world around you. You start wondering what else you may have overlooked. What other hidden stories are waiting quietly in your life? That's why conversations about coins like this never really fade. They evolve. They grow stronger as more people become aware. Because awareness transforms ordinary objects into meaningful ones. And once meaning enters the picture, interest follows naturally. And here's something even more interesting. In today's fast-moving world, where everything feels temporary and digital, physical objects with real history are becoming more attractive than ever. People crave something tangible. Something real. Something they can hold. Coins offer that connection in a way very few things can. They don't need batteries. They don't require updates. They don't disappear when screens turn off. They remain. Solid. Silent. Enduring. And that endurance creates trust. It creates fascination. It creates lasting value in a world that often feels temporary. So when you think about the 1991 British Queen Elizabeth I penny, don't just think about it as currency. Think of it as a survivor. A small piece of metal that traveled through time, through hands, through years of change, quietly reaching the present moment. And now, possibly, reaching you, and if that thought gives you even a small pause, even a small spark of curiosity, then you're already experiencing what makes coins like this so powerful. Because the true beginning of every discovery is curiosity. The willingness to look twice. The courage to question the ordinary. And now we arrive at the moment that changes everything. The moment where curiosity turns into realization. Because every powerful story has a turning point, a second when everything suddenly makes sense. When the quiet possibility you've been feeling transforms into something undeniable, imagine this scene clearly. You're holding that coin in your hand. A small, brown 1991 British Queen Elizabeth I penny. It doesn't shine like gold. It doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't feel heavy with importance. But now, after everything you've heard, it no longer feels ordinary. It feels different. Alive with possibility, this is the moment where most people experience something unforgettable. A shift in perception. The realization that value doesn't always scream for attention. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it waits decades before revealing itself. And when that realization hits, it hits deeply, because suddenly, you're not just holding a coin anymore. You're holding a question. A possibility. A doorway. And that doorway leads somewhere very real, a place where ordinary life and extraordinary opportunity collide. Think about how rare it is in life to encounter moments like this. Moments where something so small holds the power to create such a massive emotional impact. It's not just about money. It's about the shock of discovery. The disbelief. The adrenaline rush that comes from realizing you may have overlooked something truly significant for years. People who have experienced discoveries like this often describe it the same way. Their heart starts racing. Their mind starts replaying memories. They begin asking themselves questions rapidly. Where did I get this coin? How long have I had it? How many times did I ignore it? And the biggest question of all, what if this is real? That, what if, is one of the most powerful emotions a human can feel. It sits right between fear and excitement. Between doubt and hope. And it pushes people to act. To look closer. To search deeper. To finally pay attention to something they once overlooked, and this is where the emotional weight of this story becomes undeniable. Because coins like the 1991 British Queen Elizabeth penny aren't just about collectors or history anymore. They're about people. Real people. People who never imagined that something so simple could step into their lives and create such a profound moment. For many viewers watching this right now, there's a silent thought forming in the background. A memory of an old coin jar. A drawer that hasn't been opened in years. A collection passed down from parents or grandparents. And that thought is growing stronger with every second, because deep down, everyone understands one universal truth. Life-changing moments rarely arrive with warning. They don't send invitations. They don't announce themselves loudly. They appear quietly, disguised as ordinary objects, waiting for the right person to notice, and maybe that's why this story resonates so deeply. Because it reminds us that the extraordinary isn't always far away. Sometimes it's closer than we think. Sometimes it's already in our homes, hidden in plain sight, waiting patiently for recognition. Now take a deep breath and let this sink in. Some 1991 British Queen Elizabeth I penny coins have stunned collectors and shocked everyday people alike. Coins that once held almost no attention are now being looked at with completely new eyes. Because time has changed the way the world sees them. And when perception changes, value follows. There are moments in life when numbers stop being abstract and start becoming emotional. When a figure isn't just a number anymore, it becomes a turning point. A line between before and after. A number that people remember for the rest of their lives, and this is that moment, because certain rare examples of the 1991 British Queen Elizabeth I-penny coin have reached astonishing heights in collector circles. The kind of heights that stop conversations mid-sentence. The kind that makes people stare in silence, trying to process what they've just heard. That we're talking about a coin that once lived quietly in pockets and purses, now being associated with a value that feels almost unreal. $310,000, let that settle in your mind. A single penny. One coin. A number that has the power to completely reshape someone's reality. To pay off debts. To create freedom. To open doors that once felt permanently closed. That's the scale of transformation we're talking about, and when people hear that number, everything changes instantly. Curiosity becomes urgency. Doubt becomes action. Because suddenly, this isn't just an interesting story anymore. It becomes personal. Immediate. Real. This is why messages like this matter. Because somewhere out there, someone watching right now may already have this coin without realizing it. Someone may have walked past it dozens of times. Ignored it. Dismissed it. Never imagining that something so small could hold such incredible potential, and if that someone is you, this is your moment to act differently. Don't ignore that curiosity. Don't brush off that small voice telling you to check. Because history has shown again and again that the people who take a second look are the ones who change their stories. The ones who turn ordinary days into unforgettable ones. Go back and check those old places. The forgotten drawers. The storage boxes. The jars filled with coins from another time. Look slowly. Carefully. With intention. Because sometimes the biggest discoveries aren't found by experts. They're found by people who simply decided to look, and if you find it, if you come across that 1991 British Queen Elizabeth I-penny, don't let the moment pass you by. Hold on to it. Protect it. Take it seriously. Because moments like that don't come often in life. And when they do, they deserve your full attention. And remember what we said at the very beginning, this coin could change your life. If you have it, don't stay silent. Leave your email in the comment box. We are actively looking for this coin and ready to connect with people who may have one. Because somewhere out there, the next life-changing discovery is waiting quietly, and it might already be in your hands.